Hello and welcome to Nation Watch. Nation Watch is coming to you from outside today. We are at the feet of the 1763 monument at the feet of Coffee, the man who started the revolution for a better Guyana, a revolution that we must continue, a struggle that we must continue, a fight that we must not relent upon, a fight that we must continue in the best interest of all the citizens of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana. We're in election season. I'm your host, Mervyn Williams. Thank you for joining us from wherever you're joining us. Trust that you'll stay with us for the duration of Nation Watch today. We'll go exactly for an hour or so. Today is July 6th. Nomination day for elections 2025 is the 14th of July, a few days away from now. And the People's National Congress Reform and the Partnership for National Unity, that coalition, we're launching our official elections campaign today, right here at the Square of the Revolution, right here where there's evidence of a revolution in progress. We are going to launch with a massive rally here today at the Square of the Revolution. Assembly starts here at 4 p.m. and we invite one and all to join us as we rally for a better Guyana. A Guyana led by a Partnership for National Unity under President Aubrey Compton Norton, putting people first. The APNU will be rolling out its campaign strategy, its campaign policies, its people-centered development strategy in the best interest of all Guyanese. We look forward to having you join us this afternoon. Today is another special day outside of rally and outside of the launch. It is the birth anniversary of our party leader, the birth anniversary of our presidential candidate, the birth anniversary of the next president of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana, Aubrey Compton Norton. And on behalf of the executive, members, supporters, well-wishers of the APNU, I wish to convey to Comrade Norton best wishes for a happy birth anniversary and much blessings as we go forward in the new dispensation with the APNU government in office following September 1st, 2025. Today we're going to be featuring some very important people, some people who are going to be featuring prominently in our campaign, people who are appearing, who will be featuring in our list of candidates for elections 2025. We will start the ball rolling immediately by presenting to you Ms. Tahiri Adams. Ms. Adams is currently a councillor at the Georgetown City Council, and she is elected, or she was elected directly by the constituency number 14, which she represents at the level of the City Council. Tahiri, welcome to Nation Watch. Congratulations on being identified a candidate. Tell us a little bit about you.
Thank you, Mervyn. So as Mervyn would have mentioned, I am Tahiri Adams, and I am a councillor for the Mayor and City Council of Georgetown, which is basically I control or have coverage over constituency 14 as well as Georgetown itself. So to tell you more about myself, I am as well a party member of the APNU. I am a youth advocate, and I tend and I strive to represent all youths of Guyana.
Your work in constituency 14,
Yes.
do you find it challenging? Are you comfortable with this role? And how do you see yourself transitioning to a higher level of representation following elections 2025?
All right. To answer your first question, it is a bit challenging because we have residents who tend to, complain about the unsatisfactory work that the government is doing in our constituency. For example, the roads. They're rebuilding the roads, but at the same time, it's damaging persons' properties. Their fences are being broken down, and then there's no safeguarding or anything put in place to safeguard the person's homes or even their children when they're playing on the streets, because they're leaving holes in front of persons' parapets. And like I mentioned, the roads are very, very, very badly done. And as well, they're taking quite a while to have their works completed. And then to also mention the playgrounds. The playgrounds are basically, they would have rehabilitated the playgrounds, but yet still they're putting padlocks, preventing youths and children or even families from entering the playgrounds to play or to have recreational activities with their families.
So who inspired you? Who motivated you the most? What qualities appeal to you in this person who may have motivated you the most to get involved in active politics?
Well, I have to give the points to my parents, to be honest. So I was basically, my mom and my dad, they are into politics. They're basically activists. And growing up, I used to attend meetings. I used to listen and see, how these people would work so hard. And not only my parents, their fellow comrades as well, they're my comrades as well, work so hard to make changes, not only for myself, but their children and their children's children. And I want to be a part of that change. I want to put an impact on today's society and as well the future as well.
Tahiri Adams, a young advocate for a better Guyana, serving as your counselor if you live in constituency 14 in the city of Georgetown. She is a member of the mayor and city council. She's a councillor there, speaking for constituency 14, looking forward to the future of this country. Tahiri, thank you very much for joining me here on Nation Watch today. The sun is in its glory, and I can see that you would prefer to be out there in the fields walking in this instead of sitting here with me. Thank you very much and have a wonderful day. Looking forward to a wonderful rally this evening.
Thank you for having me.
When I became leader of the PNCR and then leader the opposition, our supporters felt abandoned. We had to go out there, engage our supporters, motivate them, and bring them back into the fold, which we did.
And we're here at the Feet of Coffee. We're presenting to you persons who are going to be featuring on our list of candidates for the APNU in the elections 2025. Joining me at this time is Mr. Raldo Beerbal, a young businessman from Mahika, is it? And he is actively involved in the footwork promoting APNU and candidate Aubrey Compton Norton for president. Mr. Beerbal, welcome to Nation Watch. It's your first time here. Tell us what motivated you to get into politics. I know your grandfather is a mountain of inspiration. Talk to us.
Well, for me, basically, politics is the pillar of getting to let the people of your country benefit from whatever it is there is to offer. I think that politics in general is an important aspect in this time, in this country, because we have recently discovered oil. Our country is an oil producing nation, and I think that it is important for young people like me to come out and voice their concerns where necessary.
You are fighting a battle for the removal of the People's Progressive Party and for a Partnership for National Unity Coalition to take the reins of government. How do you see that benefiting the business community of this country as a young person?
As a young person, I see it benefiting the business community tremendously, because there is so much to offer, yet still the resources aren't reaching. Forget businesses, not even the common man in this country. I think with the correct distribution of our resources, not only will businesses benefit, but it will enable the population to get necessities and to enjoy what this country has to offer.
The people-centered development strategy being rolled out by Mr. Norton and the APNU speaks to putting food on the table of every citizen speaks to putting um, children in a good place as it relates to education, getting them to school, having them provided with hot meals and a proper education system to suit the needs of a growing country. How do you feel about Mr. Norton's policies in that regard, quickly?
Mr. Norton, for me, he is a man of values. Integrity, education, honesty, whatever it is, you name it. I feel that he is the best candidate possible to run for president for not only for our party, but he is the best person I see fit to be the next president of this country because of his vision of progress for youths, for the elderly, for the entire population where no one is left behind. I think that his vision for education will immensely benefit the students across the length and breadth of Guyana. A program where hot meals are included for our students will ensure that they have the necessary tools, nutrition to get them to do what is necessary for them to succeed.
My final question to you, Mr. Beerbal, on the question of security, particularly for citizens who are in business like you are. We have a rundown security system, a politicized Guyana police force that functions only when it suits the government of the day. How do you see a Norton presidency changing that for the better as it relates to security for businesses and people in general?
For me, a Norton-led administration would reform the entire Guyana police force to do their job, which is to serve and to protect the people of Guyana and not to be conveniently used as a political tool towards political opponents, as we have seen the current administration demonstrating. I think that with a complete reform of the Guyana police force, citizens and businessmen like me will feel safer that, if, something is to happen, we have the Guyana police force at our disposal for the correct use of it. I think that, in general, in society today in Guyana, the Guyana police force has been a weaponized tool for the current administration. And I feel that that is not what they should be doing.
Let's fix Guyana. Let's vote APNU. Let's join with young Beerbal to remove the People's Progressive Party come elections 2025 on September 1, 2025. Mr. Beerbal, thank you very much for joining me.
Thank you, Mr. Morgan Williams.
It was a pleasure having you.
When I became leader of the PNCR and then leader the opposition, our supporters felt abandoned. We had to go out there, engage our supporters, motivate them, and bring them back into the fold, which we did.
We're back here at the Feet of Coffee, and we're presenting to you persons who are going to be featuring in our campaign on our list of candidates in a partnership for national unity as we count down to first nomination day, 14 July 2025, and then elections day, September 1, 2025. Meet Selena Davids, a young lady who works tirelessly to promote her party, the People's National Congress Reform, and its coalition partners in a partnership for national unity. Selena, welcome to Nation Watch. It is wonderful to have you, and I know you're welcoming this opportunity to sit down for a few minutes, take a break from the work.
Thank you, Mr. Marvin Williams. I'm honored to be here today. Thank you for having me.
Tell us what motivated you to get involved in politics and particularly in the APNU.
I joined the APNU because I believe in real change. I believe in a movement that focuses on people, real progress for every Guyanese, and not just a selective few. I joined the APNU also because of our great presidential candidate, Mr. Aubrey Compton Norton, for his integrity, his strength, and his commitment to nation building and to his commitment to the people.
Tell us a little bit about your view of our prime ministerial candidate, Miss Jaretta Finance herself, like you, a young woman, an articulate person, a person like you, passionate about change in this country. What would you say to the young voter in that regard?
Well, first and most, the presidential candidate, she's excellent, she's intelligent, she's what Guyana needs for the youth.
And what is your message to the young people of this country going forward as we rapidly approach elections 2025?
To the young people of Guyana, I say today, leaders are not just for tomorrow. Leaders are born for today. To come out, support, stand up, show Guyana what or which party truly matters.
We are at the Feet of Coffee. This is Selena Davids, I beg your pardon, Selena David, a young woman, a hard worker for a better Guyana. Selena, thank you very much for joining me on Nation Watch as we move forward to ensure that the Partnership for National Unity takes the seat of government following the September 4th, 2025 elections.
Thank
Have a
you so
wonderful
much.
day and best wishes as you continue your preparation work for
Thank
this
you so
massive
much.
rally this evening.
Thank you for having me.
Wonderful. We continue here from the Feet of Coffee. We're bringing you persons who will feature in our campaign, persons who will feature on our list, persons who are likely to feature in our new government formed by a Partnership for National Unity following the election of Aubrey Compton Norton to the office of President of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana. You're meeting not just new candidates, but young candidates, professionals, and people who are right up front in the struggle for a free Guyana, in the struggle for a Guyana that is compliant with our constitution, our statutory laws, and a Guyana that will ensure that the rule of law prevails. We present to you no stranger, Dr. Dexter Todd, attorney at law and the CEO of Dexter Todd and Associates, the law firm. Dr. Todd, I beg your pardon, has been and continues to be in the forefront of the struggle for law and order and the working of the rule of law in our society. Dr. Todd, welcome to Nation Watch once again.
Thank you, and thank you so much for having me, and good afternoon to all your viewers. This is a good day. It's launching day, and I'm excited about what is happening today. So thank you for having me.
Dr. Todd, you have stepped up and occupied a space that many young professionals are afraid to occupy. That space that says, speak truth to power, speak justice in an unjust society, speak rule of law where there's a runaway police force completely out of control, completely weaponized, completely politicized. What drove you, Dr. Todd, to step forward and to take this challenging role in our society for a better Guyana?
I think it's not debatable that we have what is considered to be petty politics. And it's not because of the fact that we don't have very credible politicians. But the perception of how politics is in Guyana has been one in which I think many young minds try to keep away. Under the present PPP's operations, you will find that if you are not on their camp, you find that attacks come in all different angles, and many persons, for their security, decided that they want to stay out. I think there is a common understanding that what has been happening in Guyana for the last couple of years keeps escalating in terms of injustices, in terms of how we as citizens are seeing the direction in which our country is going. And I believe that I cannot be one of them who will sit down and say, let the politicians, let the leaders do what they want. Because the common man, the people that I interact with daily, whether they through the courts or whether through other means, I am seeing how they are suffering. I am seeing how they are not being treated in a fair manner. And I believe this time is now for my voice to be heard. This is my time to contribute more in a more structured, meaningful way to our development of our country. And it's our time, as I've always been doing, to lift and to join with the hands of every Guyanese and to really build this country and to see the beauty in which I believe it will become, and it has the potential to become.
You're following in the footsteps of a long line of African Guyanese leaders who have worked for the liberation of this country, who have contributed to the building of a democracy which is now in a very, very fragile state. Forbes Burnham started as a very young man, an attorney at law. Desmond Hoyt joined him also as a very young person, coming up, also an attorney at law, both senior counsel. And they have led this charge for a rule of law based society, and they have struggled relentlessly to their last days on earth. How does it feel following the footsteps of such great men?
I believe it is what I believe it's a momentous task, but it's also, I believe, the foundation has already been laid. And I believe when you understand the philosophy of these very great men who saw and had a very clear vision for the development of this country, I believe it is my time to pull on the foundation and to now contribute and to build. And I think there's an old saying that you can they say don't kill the Rasta, because when you kill the Rasta, another Rasta is coming up.
We'll soon be joined by a Rasta. But before we go there, Dr. Todd, you are currently representing some Guyanese citizens in some very high profile cases that touch the very nerve of a corrupt, inept, manipulative PPP regime. You are representing persons who are charged with a number of electoral offenses, and you see that the PPP has moved to amend laws to give some significant prison terms to persons should they be found guilty of elections related offenses. In addition to which, you are the man in the middle of the Adriana Young tragedy, where it is clear that Adriana Young did not die of normal circumstances. There's no coroner's inquest. There's no proper investigation. And here you are in the middle of that, trying to ensure that justice is served in her case. Talk to us a little bit about the passion that informs the kind of action that you become involved in. And how do you see that lending itself to building this nation going forward?
I have always advocated that if we really want to find and see and receive and take part of justice, then it's a process. And where we exist in a society where there is very little confidence in the investigative arm of the state, where when just an ordinary Guyanese who is assessing and seeing things unfold recognize clearly that something is wrong, and you are telling the investigation the arm is saying to us, what you are seeing is not what it is. And I believe it highlighted all these cases that you have mentioned, highlighted that there is a serious problem in this society. And we can no longer sit by and not join our voices in highlighting the amount of corruption, the amount of incompetence we see in the investigative arm, which is the police force. And we have to worry. Each Guyanese must be worried about the fact that a force which is mandated to serve and protect is likely, if there is to be anything that goes wrong with a family member or a close friend, is likely to receive no justice. And therefore, it is all these cases highlighted that there is a serious problem, not only in relation to how the amendment of these laws. I mean, you have not touched on things like persons who are being charged with terrorism and all of them. These are all, it's an abuse in all level, at all levels.
For example, someone protesting on the street is charged with terrorism, but the man with the AR rifle shooting up a house is charged with illegal possession,
Exactly.
unlawful possession of a firearm and ammunition. It's ridiculous. So Dr. Todd emerged in these circumstances, standing on the side of people, standing on the side of the law.
Because I think that what persons who have, I think I would call it a front seat position to what is happening, you can either do two things. You can either join with what is happening, with the people who are behind creating the mischief, and remain silent, or you can say, I will not be a number that will join with what is going wrong, but I will stand with the persons and ensure that this level, the increase of injustices that we are seeing in Guyana, that it will be controlled. And that is what I believe. It has nothing to do with politics. As I tell people, I have no political ambition, but my foresight and my conviction is one which recognizes that if we don't hold hands and fix this country that is going under, then we are going to be sorry. There is going to be no tomorrow for our youngsters. There is going to be no tomorrow for the children who are coming up and are hoping that the people who have sense will get up and do something. And that is all I'm doing. As a son, as a son of this soil, I am standing up and I'm saying, enough is enough. And we will not, you see, listen to me. The more people remain silent, the more you decide, listen to me, I want to protect my job and I want to protect my little contract that that I'm getting, and you turn a blind eye to injustices, you are just a part of it.
Complicit.
You are just a part of it. All right. So it is with that understanding, and I think the conviction and the passion in which I come with is one that I don't have to read anything out of a book. I have lived it through. I am seeing it every day. All right. So I know what the problems are. I know where the people are hurting. I know where injustices are, and I can tell you, you bet my dollar, you have every energy. This party has every energy in my body to fight injustice, and I will see a better Guyana.
The solution is to change the government. Advocate Dr. Dexter Todd, attorney at law, human rights activist, fighter for justice, and a rule-based society. Thank you very much, Dr. Todd. For
Thank you.
joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
Nation Watch remains for now at the feet of Coffee, the man who started it all, the man who started the struggle for a free Guyana, for a free society in this country. We're joined by another young man. You wouldn't know it if I didn't tell you. Mr. Sherwin Benjamin, I believe among the youngest of our general secretaries in the People's National Congress Reform. Sherwin Benjamin is also a lawyer, and he is General Secretary of the People's National Congress Reform, the largest party in the APNU coalition. And he will also be featuring in our work very, very prominently and on the list of candidates for a partnership for national unity. Welcome, GS, to Nation Watch.
Thank you, Mervyn. Good morning, Guyana.
Talk to us a little bit about your journey to the office you currently hold and the journey you anticipate you will be taking between now and September 1 for the successful election of the APNU to government.
Let me say from the outset that I joined the party, the People's National Congress, then in 1997, and as a member of the Guyana Youth and Student Movement. And I worked my way up from being an ordinary member in a group in Firish to becoming the group chairman and subsequently regional vice chairman of the Guyana Youth and Student Movement of Region Number 6. And then I was elected to serve on the national executive of the YSM. And then further, I was re-elected again and served as national treasurer of the Guyana Youth and Student Movement. After then, I continued to work with the party, and I was elected in 2022 at a conference of the Region Number 4 to be regional rep to the Central Executive Committee of the party. And after the Congress in 2024, I was appointed General Secretary of the party. With that appointment, I brought my wealth of knowledge that I gained during the years, understanding the party structure, its dynamics, understanding the people who function in the party. And I intend to, in the few days ahead, leading up to the 1st of September, to work assiduously hard alongside the party leader and the other parties and my fellow comrades within the APNU construct to ensure that we remove this corrupt, incompetent, inept PPP civic government and replace it with one that is a more caring set of people, a caring government, a government who listens, a government who empathizes with the people of all walks of life, irrespective of their political association, their racial composition, and the youth, and as well as old people. And we intend to roll out a milieu of measures centered on the people's development strategy, which will be advocated and shared with you, the electorate.
Tell us a little bit about what's happening here at the Square of the Revolution. We're getting ready for a massive rally in a few hours, and you are supervising the events team. Some very capable, some very competent young people who have never failed to put on quite a show.
Exactly. Mervyn, as you notice, we are almost complete in terms of preparatory work for the rally. And I have been told that persons have started their travel. In fact, Region 9 persons have traveled from Region 9, Region 1, Region 8, they're on their way. Bartik is on their way. And the persons from Linden will start traveling as well as those coming from East and West Berbice. and we anticipate a full turnout, more than 5,000, 10,000 persons coming to participate in this rally. Georgetown people are upbeat. The people in the East Coast are really rallying. You see people coming here asking for jerseys and T-shirts. And it really says that persons want to be a part of this change movement. Persons want to get rid of this incompetent government.
So the rally is on steam.
We're on steam. We're moving on, blasting on all cylinders.
And God has blessed us with fantastic weather so far.
Fantastic weather.
Thank you, Mr. Sherwin Benjamin, General Secretary of the People's National Congress Reform. And you'll see more of him and you'll hear more from him as we go down the line towards September 1, 2025. Thanks again for joining us.
Thank you, man.
Well, we're still here at the feet of Coffee, the man who started the liberation movement in this country, the man who started the struggle for a better Guyana, the man upon whose shoulders our democracy is founded. And with me is another son of Coffee, attorney at law, young professional who you'll be seeing a lot of and from whom you'll be hearing a lot as we go towards elections 2025. I present to you Mr. Ronald Daniels, attorney at law, a young man who has weathered the storm to get where he is and who has embarked on a chapter in his life where people matter and people are at the heart of the APNU development strategy. Welcome, Brother Daniels.
Mr. Williams, thank you ever so much.
It's a pleasure to have you here on Nation Watch. I know it's your first time with us here, and I know that we'll be seeing a lot more of you. Tell us about Ronald Daniels. Tell us where he came from, how he got where he was, how he got where he is now, and where he intends to put Guyana following September 1, 2025, in as short a bit as you can.
Firstly, it's a definite pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me, and I want to thank your guests as well for tuning in. Ronald I'm really passionate about people's development. I'm passionate especially about young people. I'm passionate about social justice. I'm passionate about the rule of law. I'm passionate about equity and equality. I have come up in the struggles. I like to say that I've grown up on the streets, so I've seen life in many different shades of black and gray, so to speak. So I know what the struggle is like. I know what the challenges out there are like. And I've weathered a plethora of storms. I've weathered a plethora of adversities to get to where I am. And persons have contributed significantly to my journey. So in my offering myself up to serve or for service, is so that I can give back in the same way that persons have given to me.
Well, I come from a very, very remote community. And coming from there, I spent a number of years as a youngster growing up in the ghetto of Albaistown. I understand the struggle of the ghetto youth. I lived it. I understand the resilience of the ghetto youth. I've been there. What can we do as the next government of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana to give the youth every possible opportunity that the youth truly deserve to be the best that the youth can be in this country, regardless of where they come from?
Mervyn, just before I came on this platform, I was having a conversation with a gentleman by the name of Ryan Denny. Ryan is 42 years old. He's a father of 3 girls. And what he said to me, he said, it's really difficult out there. He's come from one of those communities that is reputed to be a depressed community. He says that, we are practicing this divide and rule type of politics in circumstances where Guyana has so much that every single person can benefit from. He says to me that he has been paying rent since he was the age of 25. He's now 42. He has paid for his house lot and he's not gotten that, not the allocation, he's not gotten access to the property that he's paid for or the title as yet. And he says that we should not have to endure those circumstances in this type of economy. I interact with young people on a daily basis. I'm really passionate about youth and youth development. I'm in communities where the school resources are poor. I'm in communities where access to jobs is virtually non-existent. A lot of the young people in those communities complain that they only have access to the menial type of work, security. Mr. Denny, as a matter of fact, says to me that why must I go to guard somebody's property for minimum wage and no benefits while my children are left unsecured? And that should not be. Right. So our young people really need to have access to the patrimony of this country. We have a lot of nice things presumably being done for media and public consumption. But when you're on the ground and you're interacting with the people and you hear from the people the struggles that they're facing, it just leaves you to wonder, how is this obtaining in these circumstances? Now is this obtaining when the government is saying that it is doing so much for everybody across the board? Right, so we need to create more competitive educational opportunities. We need to have better access to state-of-the-art educational facilities. We need to have access to community development facilities. We need remedial training in some of these communities. We need access to feeding programs in these communities. One of the things my church does in the Caneville community, for instance, we ensure that the young children have access to meals on the weekend. We invite them out so that we can, immerse them into that STEM program. These are the type of things we need, Mervyn.
These are all embedded in the Aubrey Norton APNU people-centered development strategy.
Absolutely.
And I'm very happy that you identify with it so emotionally, so intentionally. There's another area that I want to touch here. We live in a relatively judgmental society. You look like me. I come from the Barima River, where our next neighbor was maybe 3 miles away. I am an indigenous Guyanese citizen. Society's judgment puts me as being second class in my own country, puts me as being, and I'm talking here not about everyone but the judgmental side of the society in which we live, as not being good enough. And then society looks at a man like you with dreadlocks and judge you. He's another one of them from the place. They associate you with the ghetto because of your preferred way of carrying your hair. The police generally judge people who come from certain communities, like the Albaistown community, the Leopold Street community, the Tiger Bay community, the Buxton community, the Agricola community, mostly Afro-Guyanese based or dominated communities. And they see them as having criminal intent the moment they have a visual apprehension. How can we change this kind of mindset? How can we change this judgmental approach and view every citizen as a person worthy of a place in society, a place of pride, a place that commands respect.
Mervyn, I personally don't mind the association with the ghetto insofar as what the ghetto truly represents.
Right.
The ghetto is a place of love, a place of resilience, a place of overcoming, a place of, real triumph and determination.
I embrace that. I lived it.
And those are the circumstances in which I have been molded. Now, in terms of the superficial discrimination that you're subject to because you look like you, in terms of the superficial distinction that I am subject to, not only because of the hairstyle that I sport, but because of my complexion as well. Right? I absolutely resist that. I have no appetite for that. And it is something that is real in our society. I have been locked up on several occasions because I look like how I look. And I represent young men on a daily basis who are profiled, who are locked up because they look how they look. And a lot of these things go back to our systemic issues, our institutional issues, goes back to a society that is largely an entitlement type of society.
And still with residue of the colonial influence, I suspect.
Well, of course, the residue of the colonial influence. So I go back to Mr. Denny, who was saying this morning that, we have been colonized by the white man, and the white man is used as a tactic, the divide and rule, and we continue to perpetuate that. And we see it in the construction of our institutions. We see it in the deployment of our resources. We see it even in our political philosophies. We give lip service to all of these nice things about inclusion, about one Guyana, while the reality is a starkly different reality. So we as the APNU impending government, we have the fundamental responsibility to ensure that, life is poured into our constitutional mandate that, everybody in this society, everybody in this country is an equal person, regardless of race, regardless of political persuasion, regardless of religious alignment. And that must be reflected tangibly in how we distribute our resources, or we roll out programs so that, we can develop a society that is more or less a meritocracy, and not one that relegates you to a certain position because you look a certain way, because I look a certain way.
Equality in the Guyanese society, advocate, activist, attorney at law, ghetto youth, Ronald Daniels, here on Nation Watch. As we promote the people you will see more of, the people from whom you will hear more, the people who will have a large stake in the construction of a new Guyana, a Guyana where there'll be shared prosperity for all. As Aubrey Norton and the APNU takes government following September 1st, 2025, and rolls out in the best interest and for the benefit of all in this country, present and future generations alike, a people-centered development strategy that will take Guyana to its place, its right place, where Guyana will meet its destiny with prosperity. Mr. Daniels, thank you very much, and I thank all of my guests for joining me here today.
Mr. Williams.
And to our viewers and listening public, thank you very much for joining and staying with us. There will be more today as we count down to the rally hour. You will be kept abreast. Stay tuned with these platforms that you're watching us from, and you will be brought more updates as we get down to rally time, when you will hear from our prime ministerial and presidential candidate, among others, in this massive launch of the campaign of the APNU, with rally here at the Square of the Revolution today at 4 o'clock. At the Square of the Revolution, I repeat, at the Square of the Revolution from 4 o'clock. Come down, leave what you're doing, make sure you cook early, walk with your food, walk with your beverages, and join us as we rally with the APNU, because for Guyana to grow, the PPP must go.